to identify which of these 8 factors has the strongest influence on someone's physical activity, Wendel-Vos did a systematic review of all of the things that influence people's general activity, whether they live sedentary lifestyles, whether they engage in sport, whether they engage in moderate or vigorous physical activity. It looked at things like active transport, walking and cycling, and tried to identify which of these 8 factors or what sort of interventions had the biggest influence on all of those behaviours. This was a systematic review and not a meta-analysis, and it tended to focus on observational studies that looked at the environmental determinants of all sorts of types of physical activity. It didn't aggregate effect sizes as we've done in all of our meta-analyses so far, but instead it said evidence was convincing if more than half the records on one of the influences was statistically significant. So if there were 5 papers looking at the effect of bike paths on cycling as a commuting strategy, and 3 of them were significant, then it would have said that was convincing. If 40 or 50% of the records said it was significant, then that was considered a possible association. So if only 2 of the papers said that cycle paths influenced physical activity like cycling, 2 out of the 5, then you'd say that's a possible association, but you wouldn't say it's conclusive. The other criteria is there had to be at least 3 studies to be able to draw a conclusion from. If there was only 1 or 2 studies, then they couldn't say that was convincing either. So if there were 3 studies and 2 of them said it was yes, there was a significant effect, then that was considered convincing. So in the tables below, the bold numbers refer to objectively measured physical activity, whereas the unbolded numbers refer to any sort of self-reported physical activity. And the tables break it up into all of the different types of physical activity that society might want to promote, everything from commuting to vigorous physical activity. Now, just to make things a little bit harder for you, now that you're getting really good at this, I'm going to leave all of the tables in, and I want you to try to identify which of the influences are convincing. What has a convincing influence on someone's physical activity? Each number in the list refers to a study. If it's in the 0 column, that means that there was no significant effect or no effect. And if it was in the minus column, then that seemed to hurt someone's physical activity. Keep in mind, for something to be convincing, it has to have more than half of the studies in the plus column, and there has to be at least 3 studies in that row. So what we need to do is have a look at these tables and make a list of the significant influences of different types of physical activity.